Euro-Tour. Wir begrüßen aus Hannover in Deutschland die Eagle Jihan Artut. Sein Kontrahent feiert heute sein Debüt auf der European Tour. 29 Jahre ist er alt, er kommt aus den Niederlanden. Wir begrüßen Wesley Plaisier.
Well, if I was to tell you that a Dutch darts player was making his debut here on the Euro Tour, you'd have got very short odds for that to be the walk-on tune. It seems the standard choice for most Dutch players to just have something that just bangs a lot. And I realised with that statement, I sounded almost as old as Paul Nicholson, who sits alongside me for the final game of the afternoon session, as Wesley Plaisier plays Jihan Artut, a titan of German darts. The Eagle. Fine nickname, former World Cup of Darts captain for Germany, two-time quarter-finalist, of course. Walked away from the game, basically. Wasn't interested, lost the hunger, wasn't bothered about competing. But he is back. He wants to play the tour full-time. He had a tour card for 5 years. Saw him at the World Championship. Saw him regularly on the European Tour, but this is the first time he's played on the Euro Tour stage since 2016. He's looking for his first win since this tournament back in 2015 when he beat Stephen Bunting in the first round.
First leg, Jin to throw first. Game on.
I have to say, it's great to see him back. I am impressed that he's gone away. He looks healthy. He looks hungry.
60.
And there was never any doubting Jihan's ability. He may not have had massive success in singles competition. Maybe his best success came in the World Cup of Darts, of course, where they made the quarterfinals. But he's always been a little draw that you didn't want.
He was certainly dangerous, and
60.
he always seemed to raise his game at the World Cup of Darts. That German team, I mean, the German team now, Max Up and Martin Schindler, they've only been stopped the last couple of years by a rampant Michael van Gerwen, who's had to average 110 in his singles game to stop little Shindy. So Jihan
100
was one of the standard bearers for German darts for quite some time. Him, Andre Velga, Michael Rosenauer, who we'll see, of course.
96.
I'm looking forward to seeing Michael. I've known Michael a decade. He's been a stalwart of this game well before the recent popularity of the game in this country. He's one of the godfathers of the game in this country.
Well, that's the thing. You know, Jihan, his best times were, yes, the Euro Tour was in existence, and yes, the game was growing in Germany. But the explosion that it's really had over the last 5 years, Jihan's not really been part of it. So all these new German fans of the sport of darts, you know, they run into Jihan and perhaps they start talking about darts and go, oh yeah, I used to be a dart player.
99.
You might even know him. New to the game, it's all Max Opp and Martin Schindler and Gabriel Clemens.
Yeah, we need to start educating them about what went before.
89.
He's made a bit of a mess of this Jihan, but he finally does get down to a double. He had a healthy lead, but Plaisier could steal this away. Gone the right way for the 118. Not going to get a dart at the double.
94. Junior requires 36.
Double 18 then for Jihan Artut. I think there's a few times today where people have had to switch to double 9.
27.
And
Plaisier 24.
The big lad, double 12. He'd be throwing down at it. He'll definitely be throwing down to double 6. Gives it a bit of welly, and he leaves double 1.
January
A misplaced bit of welly on that occasion.
Double four is very good, and that double has been pinged quite a lot this afternoon, to the delight of the German fans, of which there will be more tonight, and considerably more tomorrow.
140.
Gian Artut, maybe his most famous game, was a loss. Back at the 2012 World Championships, he was up against Gary Anderson in the first round. He should have beat him.
He should. He should. Absolutely inconsolable after that. He's had some plum draws at the World Championship with Gian Artut. I remember him taking on Phil Taylor a few years back. But yeah, Gary Anderson was the one. Really should have got the job done there.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that game, check it out. Find it, because it was a very good game to watch.
One of those ones, and it was. Look, I mean, you'll probably know better than I. But 43. There was always a feeling that you go back 8, 9, 10 years or even further, then some of the big name players would get to the World
60.
Championship and they'd be drawn against an international qualifier and they'd think, easy draw, I'm all right here, no problem at all. And sometimes they got caught cold. Remember Mensur Suljevic, that Wadey one year, their first meeting back in 2010. And I'm not sure James Wade knew who he was. Very nearly this year, James Wade got caught again by an international qualifier.
Yeah.
Whom he didn't know or have a great deal of respect for. I think that's changed.
Yeah, we knew quite a lot about Sego. Yeah. And I think a lot of people know more about him now.
52.
And always has been rather dangerous, but more so in the last 12 months. And the Asian Tour is spitting out serious talent.
That doesn't exist, that mindset anymore, because you cannot escape it. You cannot escape what these guys are doing all around the world.
Can't escape the fact that Wesley has just taken out 32. And it's 1-all in what could be quite a close affair for someone who is making their debut, and to Gian, it may feel like a debut because it's been so long.
Well, the only darts he has played in terms of PDC, he went to Q School this year, European Q School, didn't get through. He went to Europe the first 3 days of European Q School last year, didn't get through. That's all he's done. I mean, now he has been playing darts. He's back running a pub back in Bremen, his hometown.
100.
And he says, I'm playing, I'm running, I'm keeping fit. I've got the hunger back. I want to play. I want to do the full tour again.
I've never seen him looking so healthy.
Hey, he looks good. That's what Peter Way for the darts tour will do for you, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes it's the travelling aspect that really makes you look tired after a while, and that's one of the reasons why the top guys are starting to take breaks mid-season so they can refresh themselves. But going back to your point, Dan, about international qualifiers, you know, I go back to a friend of mine, Warren French, played against a Japanese fella, and the game was pulled from TV. It was that bad. But then you fast forward and you look at a Japanese player and a Kiwi player now. You could have Sego Asada versus Cody Harris. That is a phenomenal game of darts.
Yeah. Great setup shot there from Jihan. Leaves himself on double 12. The 167 won't go. And this is a much better leg of darts because the first one was a real struggle for the pair of them. But maybe Artut is just settling down. Maybe not, though, because that was a bit of a wild one.
Two-sighters. And the second game in a row, we've had someone go for double 6, and they've dropped into the 10 segment. This time, it's not the single 10. It's actually the double, so he's bust the whole score.
Well, better that than leave yourself in a madhouse.
I agree. That's a perfect guide for a treble 19. Didn't use it.
92.
Now, Artut cannot afford any mistakes. He makes 3 of them. And now, the Plaisier fans, of which there are a few, will be willing him on to hit this double 8. And he does. He was 2 games ago supporting his friend Danny van Trijp in the audience. Since then, he's gone back to the practice room for something like half an hour, 45 minutes, and got himself ready for this. He's in the lead 2-1. I've got to say it, Dan, as well.
95.
Wesley reminds me, style-wise, of someone who I know who's watching this afternoon. That same sort of twisty action going back and a little bit of right shoulder coming through. The great Dave Whitcomb.
Ah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, favourite two-time world
96.
Two-time World Championship runner-up to the great Eric Bristow. You don't follow Dave Whitcomb on Twitter, you should.
Yeah, he's
incredibly entertaining.
Absolutely crashed onto social media, hasn't he, Whitcomb?
Yeah, he got Twitter for Christmas, and ever since then, it's just been a daily entertainment fest. Brilliant. I'm sure he's enjoying all the action this afternoon, and will enjoy this evening. I know I'm looking forward to a few of the matches. And I wonder who is going to be playing against James Wade in the next round. Will it be Wesley or Gian?
Well, one of them at the minute, like Wesley just seems to be getting more and more comfortable as this game goes on.
Yeah, nothing's changed equipment-wise for Jihan in his break. It still looks very similar. Slightly longer stem note. That leaves a nice-looking double 16.
90.
Throws those darts so hard.
96.
96 then. Double-double, potentially. No. Conventional. Brilliant. Artut with a 96 out. Gets himself level.
Right, so often the way, isn't it? You see players with 3 darts in their hand looking at a double, miss, 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 come back, miss, 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 and then 2 legs later, they've got a combination shot, 1 dart at double, and it goes. Always used to be, in fact, it was that very game, Gary Anderson against Jihan Artut the Worlds, and Gary managed to scrape through surviving match darts against Jihan all those years ago. And that was the Gary Anderson then, wasn't it? He would do something majestic, big combination out shot, 170 or 161 or something, but give him 3 darts in his hand and look at a double, and he would miss and miss and miss. He had to get into, it was almost the rhythm, the pattern. Shooting around the board, not a problem. That's unfortunate.
Not sure whether that came off the flight or the wire. Either way, I reckon that's 60 on the floor. And that's a statement of intent from Wesley, because those bulbous barrels, not sure how he got it in there, but he's got some real force behind that right arm.
Wesley's parents there, watching their lad make his Euro Tour debut.
Proud his punch, I bet.
57.
And holding his own against a man with a vast amount of experience. In fact, Plaisier's average has just clicked up to 90.
It's always going to be quite competitive on a Friday 60. At the Euro Tour. Not easy to get through first rounds. Even hear from seasoned professionals who've been here many times that it's still really difficult for them to win their first game.
Yeah, you're not quite sure. I had a brief chat with Jihan earlier on, but I'm not quite sure whether he thinks that this is a game he should be winning or not. Obviously, he's got a vast amount of experience, but it's not as if he's been playing competitive darts. Not this level.
And he take the combination shot again. He does have a shot at it.
77.
Not really that close on the double 18, but kudos 60. To give himself the chance. He may be broken back if Wesley can find the right side of tops. 40. Can't. No, Tut's got away with it. This may be the kind of chance that he needs to take. Again, he needs to switch to double 9, and he's successful this time.
After all those problems on double 18 and double 9 in the first leg before he finally got it in the bag, he might have been panicking a little, Jihan.
100.
Funny thing is, Dan, I've known Gian about 10 years, and he looks younger now than he did when I first met him. I think it's because he started to shave. Never used to be one to turn up to a tournament clean shaven. He'd always have a bit of a 6 o'clock shadow.
Well, I mean, it's a point you made earlier on. You were actually talking about Scottish players
60.
and about how many of them only reach their best in their 40s. Well, I mean, it might be the same for Gian. I mean, he's 42 now.
He may do a Darren Webster.
Hey, look, Darren Webster's been playing his best stuff at the age of about 50.
I live in hope.
Not done yet. Plenty for the A-listers to get excited about. He'll be back at Q School next year, the asset.
Yeah. Long way to go. 13 European Tour events this year, culminating the last one in Gibraltar this year.
Yeah.
And then off to Göttingen for the European Championship. Everything from the first week, or the last weekend of August, all the way through to Christmas is just a darting festival. Now, this is really tough, this 1-3-1. 2 double tops, or treble 16 and double, or maybe even a 60.
91.
A real snarl from Plaisier there. The bubbles have started to go for Jihan.
That was a confident 19.
19.
But it wasn't a confident shot at double 16 with the last 2 darts. I feel you've got to love double 16 or be really confident to hit that single in squeaky games like this, because you could easily have it shoot out of your hand and bust it. Tops for a level game. It's there, and a little bit of typical Dutch flamboyance that we may see some more of this weekend from the likes of MVG, Jeffrey de Zwaan, who we will see later on tonight playing against Josh Payne. That is a great game of darts.
It really could be a belter, that one. Josh Payne, I think on form you'd have to say that Payne's the favourite over the last few weeks, but Jeffrey de Zwaan,
140.
something happens.
Well, some of the young lads this morning who were just chilling out, getting ready for this evening, they weren't doing a Mervyn and turning up, 8-9 hours before.
83.
In the hotel, there's a very large screen in reception, and the likes of Dimitri van den Berg and Jeffrey de Zwaan were honing their skills
60.
in a video game of football.
Yeah, bit of FIFA 19.
Yeah, I was quite the spectator.
59.
And marvelling at the video game skills of a certain Brazilian Diogo Portela,
Yeah,
who was
quite handy.
he was
Only one person to beat him this morning, Jeffrey de Zwaan.
is that
Although
a sign?
Diogo was at pains to point out he beat him 3 times as well. So,
Yeah, it's amazing how the skills in video games
100.
can be very similar to their darting skills. Flamboyance, trickery, but I don't care how good you are, Gian, you can't finish 159, and you should have gone to the 19s on that last dart.
that's silly dart, and it may well cost him here because Plaisier is down to a Shanghai finish. There's just a little trace of a smirk on Gian's lips there. He knew he'd made a mistake, and he'll be kicking himself. Maybe that's just a bit of rustiness.
I totally agree. I think in that spot he just didn't know what his score was, and he made the wrong choice. Plaisier needs tops for the right choice.
80.
Now Artut has got a very doable 78 here. Plenty of room over the top.
58.
Just not enough juice on that one. That one was nowhere near the double that he needed.
1-0 down, 2-1 up, 3-2 down. But 4-3 up, and Wesley Plaisier in his seesaw game has the advantage.
Flag Wesley to throw first. Game on.
One thing we do know about Wesley Plaisier is that he, like his friend Danny Van Trijp, had to win 5 games to get here. And there are some names in that list that he beat that we know a lot about. Marino Michaels, Cody Harris, that's a scalp.
45.
Ian Conterman, someone who has graced a lot of lists in the past. Maybe Jimi Hendrix as well,
46.
someone who had a very eventful Thursday evening. But Plaisier can take a lot of confidence from that list of victims.
140.
Well, it's very tight to call this. I know that Plaisier is edging the averages,
59.
but the finishing is where it's been different. There you see, 14 missed darts at double by Jihan Artut.
100.
Wesley hitting almost 1 in 3 of his darts at double. There's no shame in that on a Euro Tour debut.
No, not at all.
57.
And neither of these guys have got anything to really pluck out of their experience, their recent experience anyway, to help them in this spot.
What's the longest you've had away from playing real competitive darts and then come back? Is it when you've been injured?
In my professional career, it was about 6 weeks.
That's the longest you've had.
Yeah.
So it's nothing comparable. I mean, there's never going to be anything comparable to Jihan, for example.
No, not at all.
Now then, another single 19. Leaves double top. Combination finish. And again,
96.
it's missed.
He's getting
Wesley
closer.
requires 75.
Problem is, he's getting closer, but he may not get another shot. Double 12. Oh, that's a guide and a half. He had to hit that. That was the guide of all guides. And he is 5-3 to the good, the Dutchman. It's a good point, though, Dan, about gaps in games. And, you know, you could talk about, say, Gary Anderson at the minute, not playing as much. I know he played really well at the UK Open and still got done by Steve Beaton, but time will tell how having a break helps him. The best example we mentioned is Darren Webster, because he took years off and came back even better. Peter Wright as well. He basically walked away from the game and came back. He was even better.
Well, we've seen the guy today, Ross Smith, who walked away from the game for a good year and a bit, and then has come back and got the hunger back, and I think he looks as good as ever.
Yeah, a career is not a straight line. No, it's more like a Richter scale. You have quiet periods and then you have big shakes.
And it's going to take some serious shaking to stop Wesley Plaisier here, because Artut did have the throw in this leg, but he might be about to have it stolen away from him. Or he might not.
44.
Well, his last win last night, Plaisier, against Jimi Hendrix, was a 6-5. It was the only 6-5 he had in those 5 games. He had a 6-0, a couple of 6-3s and a 6-2, but the last leg last night was when he was 5-all, so he has got some gumption and some steel. He's going to need it here just to get over the line.
84.
It's a lovely last dart.
January 160.
Still advantage Artut, you feel.
100.
Boy, that's a good last dart.
It is, but you don't have a great deal of confidence that the 60 will go if he's allowed to poke at it. He might not be allowed to poke at it. Oof.
See the shake in that first dart. That tells you it was really close.
96. January requires 60.
Got to go, Gian. Still can't find tops. One shot left at 10s. And that one's pulled to the left. And that could be game, set, and a match to Wesley Plaisier if he can find 2 good darts.
Well, I can assure you, Jihan, you've been away for a while, but the doubles haven't got any smaller. Just feels like it. Tops.
16.
Both missed. And
January
Jihan Artut is
10.
not buried yet. His parents, they're being put through the ringer.
He's still in there, to the delight of the German fans. Now, that unbelievably was a hold throw. So he's got to do that one more time, but in order to get there, he's got to break the young Dutchman.
125.
Right, it's a good response after missing a couple of match starts.
Maybe what he needs is a little injection of adrenaline, because I remember very, very well when he played for Germany in the World Cup. He played some of his best stuff when he was absolutely fired up.
He really did. There was something magical that seemed to happen at the World Cup of darts.
Yeah, they're not doing too badly these days, the Germans, at the World Cup with Shindy and Hop.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Gabriel Clemens is knocking on the door, so Robert Marjanovic, he's pulled off a few scalps this year, but Peter Wright on the Pro Tour the other weekend.
Are you going down the avenue of a Germany B team?
Oh, well. Four-man World Cup would be good.
60.
I'm not sure how it'd work. It'd be good.
Not a bad idea.
You'd be back in the Aussie team, Paul.
Probably not.
Well, you will be.
Cadby's coming back.
Yes. That's going to make things interesting.
He hasn't played on the European Tour yet.
No, he hasn't.
I wonder
when. It's going to be a while. He's back in the country Monday. The UK, that is, not here. We're in Germany. And obviously we've had the qualifiers for the first 4 Euro Tour events already, so it'll be a while, but Wesley Plaisier looking to set this up. That is decent. And he's going to get more match darts. Will he leave tops again? He's already missed it a couple of times for the match.
I think it's a smart play. I think the taller fellas tend to like tops.
Right in his eye line, doesn't it?
Oh, well.
Okay. So double 16 it is. A change of approach. Another double 8. Plaisier! Wesley wins on his debut. And Jihan Artut. It's been a long while, Jihan. 3 years since you're on the Euro Tour. But the wait for a win goes on. It's more than 4 years since he last picked up one. But he will be back. We'll be seeing more of the Eagle. And we'll be seeing more of Wesley Plaisier, because he'll take on James Wade, the number 4 seed here at the European Darts Open. That's tomorrow. Tonight, in a couple of hours' time, gets going at 7:15 local time. Matthew Edgar, prime time, kicks things off against the Polish Eagle, Krzysztof Ratajski. But we also get to see world champions in Glenn Durrant and Raymond van Barneveld on the Euro Tour.
How nerve-wracking was this?
Very nervous, very nervous. I can't describe how, but very, very nervous.
He made it difficult there for you in the end. You had 3 match starts on double 12, I think. You missed them all. Were you very nervous then?
Yeah. Shaking like... shaking.
Yeah. Next round, I don't know if you know, but James Wade, in-form player, really. He's really the form horse at the moment of the PDC. How do you have to play tomorrow to be a threat to him?
I heard it, but I go play him, and you never know. Darts is darts, and in Dutch, everything possible.
All right, then best of luck in the second round. Congratulations, Wesley Plaisier. Vielen Dank und wir verbleiben so.